Hey guys, it's Tamara Bennett with Southern Adoornments Decor. We're going to be painting a cuddly snowman door hanger. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. I am so excited about this new design. Isn't he the cutest? He makes me think a little bit of Olaf from Frozen because he looks like he just wants a warm hug. The colors we're going to be using are black, white, of course. And then I've got to mix a blue color for the hat band. Kind of blue, but it's kind of greenish blue, so I may have to mix the color for that. But the other colors I'm going to be using are Cotton Candy. These are all Decor Americana matte acrylics. Decor Razzleberry. This is a really cool pink color that I like. Bluegrass Green. Y'all know I love that color. Bahama Blue. It's a like real pretty teal color. And Jack-o'-lantern Orange. That'll be his nose. And then I've got this true blue color. We're going to kind of mix this with the bluegrass green to create another color because I didn't have the exact color that I wanted. I think I'm going to begin with his hat and scarf because that has like polka dots, so it's kind of like two layers. So we're going to start with the bottom layer. I'm just using a flat tip brush about a 1-inch size, and we're just going to put a quick coat of this Bahama Blue color on the main part of his little hat. I'm not being really careful to stay like inside the lines and stuff because I know that the other colors I'm using will cover anywhere that I get over the lines. So I'm just quickly putting this on and then doing long strokes to kind of smooth it out. And then let's put it on his scarf. Okay, before we proceed with anything else, I'm gonna, let me think. I want to do the polka dots on top of his little scarf, and so I may do that next so that if I get outside the lines, I can kind of clean it up really easily. But while we're waiting for that to dry, we'll go ahead and paint like his nose and some of his facial features. That way I don't have to break out the hair dryer. This orange is that jack-o'-lantern orange. It's really nice and bright, but I probably should have painted a little white underneath it to make it even brighter. I think if I do 2 or 3 coats, it'll be fine though. And then, actually we'll wait on those other colors. I'm gonna go ahead and mix the blue that I'm gonna need. This is True Blue. Okay, there we go, that's better. Now I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of this Bluegrass Green because I wanna give it just a slight hint of a teal color. Stir it up. Oh yeah, that's much more like what I had in mind. I'm sure Decor probably has a color that would match with this. I just didn't have it on hand and I'm not sure what paint color name it would be. So if you guys recognize this color, please tell me. It's kind of it's almost like a peacock sort of teal, but it's much more blue than that. Well, I can't paint with that just yet because I need to do my polka dots. So let me dry my scarf and hat so we can do that. Now the polka dots I'm going to be doing are with these Martha Stewart polka dot sponges. I think this is the largest one. If you don't have some of these would be really great stocking stuffers. So tell someone in your family to get you some for Christmas. Okay, so you get it on there really good. And then all you have to do is push down, do a gentle twist, and lift up. Now, I've also got baby wipes handy because if I get outside the lines, like you know how sometimes you want to do a polka dot half on and half off? We can dot and then wipe up the excess where we don't want it. And yes, it's going to leave a little bit of a stain behind because there was no paint underneath, but it's easier to paint over that little stain than it would be to paint over a solid painted polka dot. So we're just wiping up the excess and then we'll paint over the other parts. There we go. All right, so we got our polka dots on our hat. I wanted giant polka dots on this project, so that's part of the reason these polka dots are kind of big. All right, I'm gonna take this out of the little plastic. That's the good thing about these sponges is they're easy to wash. You just pop them out of the plastic and then you can rinse them in water. I'm I'm gonna wipe up a little bit of this excess, and then I should be able to paint right over where it stained the edge of the wood. All right, got a little bit right there. Okay, right now it looks like a mess, but don't judge it. It's gonna be super cute in just a few minutes. Let's do the color blue that I mixed up. Let me find a good flat tip brush here. Okay. I love this color now that I've mixed it. If you guys think it looks like a particular color for deco art, let me know and I'm gonna go buy it. It's like a deep teal. But I mixed bluegrass green and true blue to get this color. Not quite half and half. It was like maybe 2/3 true blue, 1/3 bluegrass green. And see, that painted right over the pink of those polka dots just fine. Look how pretty that is. Yeah, I got paint all over my hand now. Oh, I forgot to wipe up the excess of this polka dot here on his little face. It's all right, white covers just about anything, so I think it'll be fine. It's just gonna look like a hot mess for a few minutes. His gloves are also gonna be this color. I thought he was just a different take on the snowman as far as he just looks cuddly and cute. You know, he's not like the typical snowman that I usually paint. He's a little bit more like kiddish looking, I guess. I don't know. Whimsical. Next, I need to do my white, I believe. Yes, let's do white next. Okay, so pretty much everything up here is going to be white except for like his eyes and his smile. So I'm just going to paint all of this area white and paint over all of the etched lines, and I'll still be able to see them underneath the paint. And I'll go back and add those other details later. And I'm using a brush that's about a 1/2 inch wide, but I didn't get it rinsed very good apparently because it's leaching blue paint down out of the handle all over my white paint. I tried to squeeze some of the excess out on a paper towel, so maybe that'll work. Now right here where I got over the line with my polka dot, that white covers right over it. It might take 2 coats, but it's going to cover it just fine. So that's why I wasn't worried about making a mess of it earlier. This is usually the part of the door hanger process where everybody's like, oh my goodness, this is turning out awful. Like when you're painting it yourself, you're probably thinking this is going to be a mess. It looks terrible, but if you stick with it for just a few more minutes and don't stop, just keep painting, it will get better. It's like the puberty phase of the door hanger. Everything has to kind of get crazy and out of whack and look weird before we can actually make it look right. That was a terrible analogy. Hopefully you aren't laughing at me. I watch videos sometimes while I'm at the beauty salon. Okay, and then everything down here except for his scarf is white, and then we'll paint our little buttons and things pink in a moment. But this is where we get to clean up some of the mess that we made earlier with the pink polka dots. Paint right over it. So I'm just going to turn my brush up on its edge and kind of paint all the way up to that scarf. And it's going to look kind of messy for the first coat because it's going to take 2 coats of white to really make it look good. And that pink was a little bit damp, so it kind of turned my white pink. Just having a hard time today. I'm an impatient painter. I didn't wait for my paint to dry. But gonna be all right. It's gonna be super cute when I'm done. I think I'm gonna have to keep this one. Sometimes I end up selling them or giving them away, but I think I'm gonna have to keep this one. He's gonna be so cute. If you're the type of person who doesn't like to paint and you just like to watch me paint, we will be offering these as a painted version on the website, so you will be able to go and buy them if you want to. All right, let's try this real quick. So this one, let's see, let me show you what I was using. This is the size I was using. So now I'm just pretty much doubling the size of the brush. And this will make for not only a quicker application, but less brush strokes, and it's going to be smoother. And because I'm doing such a large area, that's why I'm able to upsize to such a large brush. You just kind of have to be careful going around some of the other colors, because it's hard to control the paint with a larger brush like this, and you're likely to make a mess of it. So if you wanted to, you could use like a round tip brush or a smoother one, sorry, not smoother, a smaller one to go up next to some of the other colors, and then fill in the middle areas with this larger brush. But if you've got some practice with painting, you might be able to control the paint enough to do what you want to do with it. So now I'm just doing longer strokes to kind of smooth it out so it's as smooth as possible. Getting in those little cracks. That's much better looking. Larger brush made a big difference in the application. There we go. Okay, so now let's go up and do his face. You may not be able to see those etched lines anymore, but I still can. So when I go to do his eyes and his mouth and all of that, it won't be any trouble because I can still see them through the paint. Trying to get as close to that scarf as I can without making a mess. And then smooth out my strokes before I put my brush back down. Okay, wait, there's a little spot right there. I think I may need to go over my nose one more time with the orange as well. Okay, he looks pretty good. Now we can dry it really quick, and then we will do like the pink of his little gloves and then the buttons. This is the raspberry color that we used a moment ago on the scarf. It just looks slightly different on top of the white. And then we're going to paint that little color right here. It's kind of like the little bands to his gloves. All right, let me dry it another time so I can do a second coat. Just speeds up the process a little bit. Paint those little dots again. You could also use a sponge pouncer for this part if you want. And then I'm going to go over the dots on the on his little scarf by hand, just to give them a quick like second coat and make them just a little brighter, because I did them with a sponge the first time. My phone is dinging. Okay. I also realized a moment ago I forgot to paint the very, very top of his hat. So we're just going to paint that this bluish color also. There we go. What's next? I think his face, and then we're almost done. We just need some finishing touches. So let me get a small round tip brush. I sell these in my shop. These are the purple round tip brushes I was showing you guys last week. So I'm going to choose the size 2 and get black paint. Oh, and I forgot I was going to touch up his little nose real quick. Let me get a round tip brush and go around that nose one more time. There we go. Okay, and now our black paint and the round tip size 2. Let's do just some little details like around the edges of his gloves. And then I forgot, I'm also going to do some rosy pink cheeks. So we'll go back and do that in a moment. Adding these little black lines just kind of ties everything up and makes it look a little neater. Especially if you're a slightly messy painter, which I am. I'm a messy cook and a messy painter. I usually end up with paint all over me. And then when I cook, I end up with food all over me and all over the kitchen. That's okay. We can always clean it up at the end with these little black lines or whatever else to add more detail. You could also use a paint pen for this part if you want to. Sometimes I do that, especially if there's lots of black lines. But this one doesn't have very many, so I'm not going to mess with it this time. Just doing some outlines here on his little hat, and then we'll go back and we'll add some highlights and things, and that'll really make everything kind of pop. Alrighty, just about done. Okay, and then let's do his little eyes. This will really make him look cute. Those little eyes. Whoops, I accidentally made one eye bigger than the other. It's okay, we're just going to even it out by making the second one larger. If your paint feels like it's gumming up a little bit, which mine kind of does, you can add a little bit of water and that will help. And I'm going to outline my nose with black too because I kind of made a mess with the orange and the white. So just to clean it up and make it look nice, we're going to outline it. And then he's got some little eyebrows up here. One's kind of going under the hat. And then really quick, let's add some pink cheeks. This is Cotton Candy Pink. Just need just a little bit of it. And I'm going to get a round tip brush and just do like a little circle on his cheek. This is kind of behind the little, it's almost like a snowflake shape at the edge of his smile. And then we'll just paint the smile right on top of these rosy cheeks. You could also use a sponge pouncer for this. Painting circles makes you twitch. Alright, so the final touches, we're just going to add some little white highlights. Let's put some white in his eyes, little white on his nose, a little bit like on his little buttons here. Hey, My mother-in-law's here. She's going to babysit Charlie while I go somewhere. And then some on his little gloves. We'll do some up here on the hat. And then you could put little highlights on each of the polka dots. And a little bit like up here in his, the little poof on top of his hat. And there we go. I think the only thing I forgot, and I just realized, was to do like a little bit of a black outline down at the very bottom of his little body. So, just add that there. And then I think we're done. Let me hold him up so you guys can see. Look how cute he is. Ah, is he not adorable? So I hope you guys have a great Tuesday. Happy painting. Bye, y'all.